you don't like is only because you don't know a better way. And hopefully today I can share a couple of things with you that will help you be a better way. But before I do that, I'd love to hear from each of you just quickly so we know who's on the call. I'd like to know, obviously, your name, where you're from, and why you're on this call. We're going to go quick, so be ready. And when you're finished, I want you to point to another person. So we'll start with Nick. And Nick, you're going to tell us who you are, where you're from, and why you're here. And when you finish, you go. And Robert, you're next until we work through everybody. Go ahead, Nick.
Awesome. My name's Nick Sproul. I am down here in South Florida. I'm a real estate broker, and I guess I'm here because, you know, I spoke to Sal, I spoke to Diego Corzo, and they told me that this was an awesome group to be a part of. And so just looking forward to learning more about it and hearing if it's something that's right for me. Let's jump over to Curtis.
Awesome. Hey, guys. Coach Curtis Phelan here. I'm here as Rock's, one of his badassadors. I've known Rock for 20 years. Rock and I used to work together, and now we're working again together. We met through Tony Robbins. I'm one of the founding coaches for Tony Robbins, and I work with Rock now, and I'm here to grow myself. You know, I'm actually in M1 as well as Brad and everybody else. Well, a few others on here. We're in M1. So as a coach, as a leader, you always are expanding, always stepping up. So I'm here to support not only all of you, but to support myself, to learn, to grow, to stretch myself. So Brad, first person I saw.
And boom. What's up, guys? Brad Johnson here. I'm in Toronto, Ontario right now, part of The Voice. I just spent 5 days out in the wilderness of Upper Ontario, Canada. And I'm out with some family time right now, and there's no way I was going to miss this. So I'm here to grow myself and to increase the level of my peer group, and to actually, I'm here to do R&D. And Rock will explain what R&D is, but I'm all about matching and modeling successful people because I'm tired of doing this shit on my own, and I must put myself in the path of greatness and learn from people who have done it and are doing it. That's why I'm part of M1. Let's go to Ernesto.
Hey everybody, good afternoon. My name is Ernesto. I am in Concord, California. For those of you who don't know where that is, that's about 45 minutes on a good day east of San Francisco. I am here because I was recently inspired by Diego's story. I've been communicating with him one-on-one. I'm supposed to be hosting him at my place in a couple weeks. I'm hoping that comes together. I just want to help him out when he's in San Francisco. I asked him what was one of the, you know, more inspiring and influencing things that he's been a part of to get to where he is, and he mentioned M1. So if he swears by it, I'm a believer, and I want to see if it's right for me. With that said, I'm going to pass it over to Bids. I don't know who Bids is. You're up.
Hey guys, my name's Abid. I'm from Toronto, Canada, and I'm on this call because I had a great chat with Brad and Sal last week, and I want to learn more about M1. And also personally, I want to be the best version of myself. So that's why I'm here. And
Over to
I pass it on to Robert.
How do I get this on my screen, guys?
You got it. You're good.
You're good.
Robert, you on me?
We got you.
All right, I'm Robert Johnson. I go by Robbie Johnson. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. I've met a couple of you. I actually met Rock down there the night before UPW Chicago. I met Brad a couple weeks ago on a call. I'm good friends with Nick Spone, who's one of your M1 teachers, I think. And, you know, I'm still kind of in the 9-to-5 world also. I've been in part-time real estate for about the last 2 years, and I'm looking to surround myself with people that think like me because I haven't been around those type of people. And I need to do that to get to the next level. And yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Around the right kind of people and people that are hungry and people that want what I want. So that's why I'm here.
Bam. We lost you.
Sondal, can you see me? The Sondal?
Hi, yes, I'm Lisa Undall, and I'm from La Crescent, Minnesota. Right now I'm on the upper bluffs of La Crosse, Wisconsin. It's beautiful right here. Sorry, I just had to take my dog for a run, and he's really cute here. He's a black lab. So I am here because of my good friend Carolyn Colleen. She's part of M1, and I also had a nice phone call with Brad and Sal, and they're encouraging me to be a better version of myself. And I am badass, and I want a positive change in my life.
Awesome. Over to.
Sorry, I don't see who else is on the call, so
Okay.
I can't pass it on.
Go with Lawrence.
Lawrence, you're up.
Hey guys, I'm Lawrence Lotz. I'm likely one of the guys on the call that's furthest away from anywhere in the world. I'm actually calling in from Auckland, New Zealand. The pretty much the other side of the world, or where everyone is at the moment. I'm in the call now because I've been in contact with, as I call him, the badass mofo, Brad Johnson, for the last month. He's been helping me grow and helping me build my side of my life and my small businesses that I run. And also started to introduce me to M1, Rock Thomas. I had a call last week with Sal as well, just looking about joining into M1 and what this community can bring to me and how it can change my life and the journey and the why in my life and get me to the why and what I want as well. So that's why I'm here, just to take more in and learn more and become a better person.
I love it.
And I think I'll switch over to, I think most people. Oh, Matt, have you spoken?
No, I haven't. I was hoping nobody would see me. But awesome. Hi everyone. I'm Matt, and I'm based out of Kentucky. And I'm on. I recently just came back from UPW Chicago. Also my friend Sal as well. And I'm a big believer in personal development. And always trying to figure out a way to become the best version of yourself. And everything I've learned about M1, I just like what I've seen so far. And when Sal told me about it, I knew I had to hop on. So that's why I'm here.
All right, fantastic.
And I think I will pass it on to, I'm going to mispronounce his name, but Hussey.
Oh, it's actually Lloyd Hussey. Hey, everyone. I'm dialing in from Thousand Oaks, California. That's about an hour north of Los Angeles. And I had the pleasure of meeting Brad this morning and a call that Sal set up, and came to find out about M1 through my friends in the Bigger Pockets community. And I'm really just interested in, like a lot of you guys, kind of surrounding myself with like-minded people that have a heart for personal development, creating financial independence, and just being around a really high level of energy, and really just looking for that from this. So really excited to learn more.
All right. I think that rounds out the troops. So back to me. Let's get this show started. I'm going to create a little value. Anything else, Sal, before we get started?
Hey guys, I just want to thank you all so much for coming on tonight. I know it's a Tuesday night, but this is going to be awesome. Thank you again. If you guys don't remember me, I'm Sal. I believe I've met every single one of you. I am Rock's assistant, his Daniel-san. He's my Mr. Miyagi wax on, wax off. And I've been on this M1 journey for about 3 months now. It's been life-changing. It's been a crazy, crazy whirlwind of stuff, but I would not have it any other way. And it's changed my life forever. And I'm so excited for what the future holds. So, Rock, go ahead.
All right, man. So, guys, I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to jump onto a little PowerPoint here and walk you through some stuff that I think is going to be fun and hopefully is going to be life-changing for you as well. And I think I go to present here. Where is it? Present mode. So can you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I want to walk you through some of the things that were fundamentally the things that I used in order to gain, some pretty good success. I've run some real estate offices that sold $1 billion of real estate a year. I've owned a restaurant. I have my pilot's license at the age of 15. I've done a lot of things. I've driven a taxi, and currently I have about 400 people that work for me and have lots of passive income. Like I said, 36 streams of income. But more importantly, I'm currently in Los Angeles. I've averaged 26 trips in the last 6 years. I've opened up 15 different streams of income in the last 5 years. And I've befriended over 200 multimillionaires that I have in my Rolodex that I have the capacity to introduce to you. So how does that happen? What does it mean? And what is the criteria in order for you to get into that is what I want to talk about today. And you will have an invitation at the end of this call for you to make a decision regarding some choices. So don't be surprised when you have an offer at the end of this call. So the first thing I want to talk about is all successful people have a burning, burning desire. And Sal, I think there's a few people maybe you want to mute. There's a little bit of background noise. So the first thing that people have is this desire to create something. All successful people have developed it throughout their life. And I find that it usually can come from two places, inspiration or desperation. And mine has come from usually mostly desperation. Remember, there's a saying is that there's 2 days in your life that are the most important, the day you're born and the day you discover why. And I find that sadly, most people never figure out why they're born. And they struggle doing something they don't love. When I was about 13 years old, my brother had this little moped and I wanted to drive it. But he would always tease me, come on over, sit on it, you could drive it. And as soon as I was just about to, ready to go, he'd shove me off and then he would take off on it. And then the next day he would tease me again and again and I would get sucked in until one day I said, that's enough. And I never sat on it again. And I worked instead at saving up my pennies in order to be able to buy my own. At the age of 14, when you could buy it, I bought my own. And now that was a purpose at the time. And I want to offer for you that most of your purpose is going to come from the pain in your life. Michael Jordan didn't make his varsity high school basketball team, and he used that pain to serve him going forward. And there are dozens of people that have been hurt in their life. Jim Carrey became very funny because his parents were struggling and he wanted to lighten the room, lighten the humor, lighten the mood. So he decided to make people laugh and he pursued that to take the pain away from people. So I want to offer for you that there's a seed within the pain that's happened in your life. But most people, what they do is they mask it with alcohol or food or drugs or some habit. They cushion it by gossip or watching TV and distracting themselves from the pain. I was fortunate enough where I grew up on a farm, there was no TV, there was no way to mask it. All I had was to look around and say, could I do chores and make money and save to get my own motorcycle or not? And later on, I continued to use that model to be really successful. Now, if you want to get to a stage where you're unstoppable, unshakable, it's going to come from your dream. And that dream is something that you're going to feed. Justin Bieber was lucky he found his early. Steve Jobs lived his dream. And yet even though he was fired from his company, but he came back and he was able to, validate that for himself. So don't underestimate the pain in your life. Utilize it. And in an environment that we have, we keep on reminding people, we support people, we encourage people, and we challenge people to turn that worst pain into your life's purpose. And by the way, if your purpose doesn't make you cry, if it doesn't move you, it doesn't give you goosebumps, then it's not your why. Your why has to make you cry. It has to move you. And guess what? Then there's no obstacle big enough for you. There's nothing that will take you out. There's nothing that will stop you. And you'll really start to defy the odds. So that's the first thing that I want to talk about. And the second thing is the comparison between mediocrity and success or epicness. Once you lick the lollipop of mediocrity, you are going to suck for the rest of your life. And here's why. The I stands for your identity, the way you describe yourself. If you saw my Goalcast video, you saw that there are the words that follow I am, follow you. And that identity taps into the P, which is your potential, what you're capable of doing. Are we capable of doing more? Are we capable of working harder? Are we capable of disciplining ourselves and going after what we want? Or do we let fear stop us? So we tap less into our actions or our potential. We ultimately get a smaller result than what we want, which feeds back into our identity. If you're lucky like me, you had some people that said to you things like, you're stupid or you're skinny or you'll never amount to much. and made me stop tapping into my potential, stop tapping into my actions, got a result called not very smart, not very popular, and then my identity was fed even more, and it's called spiraling down or a negative identity. What we're going to do in this environment is help you build an outstanding identity, one where you're unstoppable and one where you break through your childhood trauma and you really start to turn it around so that you can do whatever you want. So the burning desire, along with the vision or a dream, and the other elements are what we're going to talk about today. So the first thing I want to talk about is, I'm going to change the screen just a little bit so I can see you guys, because I can't see you when that screen's full like that. It's a little bit better for me. So let me move you over here like this. So how many of you have a ritual around your goal setting? Do you set goals in writing? Do you have a way that you look at them? Do you talk about them on a consistent basis? And you don't have to answer that out loud, but I just want you to think about it. You may know this already, that 3% of the population approximately set goals and 97% don't. Yet the 97% that don't have less wealth than the 3%. And there's some reasons behind this. So what we've done is we've created a goal setting system for you that you can follow and you can model from the most successful. The second thing that's really important, and especially in this day and age, I don't know if you would agree, but I would say extreme focus. The ability to cut things out, the ability to streamline things. I'm going to show you just for a second Salvatore's schedule, just so you can see an idea of what extreme focus looks like. So that is his schedule. So he's time blocked virtually everything so that he has things to do and he knows what he's going to be doing. And you might be thinking, oh, I don't want that rock. That's going to give you no freedom. It actually does the opposite. It allows you to plug into what you're doing, and it includes even time off to go to the gym and things like that. So you can do that, and you can follow our Sunday system for success, which Ariel says gives her about 5 to 10 hours extra per week. And it's really about the 7-step process of, let me find back here, of living through extreme focus. Now, any of you have a morning ritual? How many of you have read, just by raising your hands, any of you read The Miracle Morning? Anybody? So do you, Nick, do you follow that? Is that something that's impacted your life? Do you continually do it? Yes, I see him nodding his head.
Yeah. I mean, I fall off sometimes, honestly, but I consistently get back on and follow that ritual, yes. Yeah,
so successful people, what they do is they have routines and rituals, like Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg wear the same clothes every day, for the simple reason that is one less decision and it allows them to be more efficient and effective. So the vision part is about having a routine around constantly thinking about what you want versus what you don't want. Being really crystal clear so when opportunities present themselves, you can say yes. When I was introduced to my partner, David Osborne, 5 years ago, who's worth about 100 million, he asked me if I wanted to do a mastermind with him. I immediately said yes. I didn't ask how much it cost. He just said, I'm getting together with a bunch of guys at my house who want to do a mastermind. Bam, I was in. When Tony Robbins presented to me Platinum Partners, I also signed up. I didn't have the $65,000 at the time, but I was able to make some monthly payments of $6,500, which was 20 years ago, was a lot of money. But I was in. When your why is big enough, you'll figure out the how. And so the vision part is something we're going to help you build. It's something we can all do better, but the rituals and routines around that with, by the way, Nick, some accountability, because once you learn something, knowledge comes in. The application wanes for all of us unless we're in an ecosystem of accountability. When you're on a football team, you practice harder, you're more disciplined. When you go to a yoga class, it's the same thing. When you have an expectation with a consequence, you perform at a higher level. So if you really want to succeed well, you voluntarily put yourself into an environment that forces you to step up. The second thing I found is really important with people and success is to have a level of passionate curiosity. So I want you to think about how curious you are, how open you are, how many great questions you ask. When you go to a party or you hang out with people, are you asking questions? What are you passionate about? What are you excited about? What's the next deal you're on? Who do you know that you should introduce me to? So that you're really like a young child seeking the knowledge. The moment you get to the place where you think that you know that is the moment you start to recede backwards. Tony Robbins, 41 years of personal development, never missed an event, never canceled an event. Incredible, because he's so curious about health and about doing the rituals and routines that he's unfrickin' stoppable. That's the guy I model. That's the guy that I hold high on my advisory board for the decisions that I make. And then when opportunities come along, I say yes and figure it out later. When I was a real estate agent, my broker walked into my office. I was one of 94 agents. And he walked in and he says, Rock, I want to sell you the company. Do you want to buy it? And I had just overcome a divorce. I had debt. I wasn't in a position to invest in the largest real estate office in the province of Quebec at the time. But I turned to him and I said, yes. And then I turned the other way and I went, what am I going to do? I had to sell my house. I had to sell my car. I had 3 kids under the age of 4. I had to learn how to do the exam in French, another language. But guess what? I figured it out because the urgency was there. The demand was there. Part of the problem with average struggling people is that they keep on looking for the how, knowing exactly how they're going to figure things out before they step into the opportunity. Does that make sense? You're like, yeah, I want to open a business, but I'm going to study this, I'm going to study that. I want to do an online course, but I got to figure out and do the product. I wrote a course called The Top 10 Rules of Success after I sold it to 40 people. I sold it to 40 people and I told them I'd deliver it to them in 90 days. And then I freaking got busy writing the damn thing. But guess what? I was hyper-focused. I was motivated. Sickness didn't enter into my realm. I didn't have time for it. I had to deliver this product that people had paid for. My last book that I wrote, Your Epic Life Blueprint, is a bestseller. And I sold it before I wrote it. I just started speaking and going out there and telling people that they could buy my book at a discount. And then the day that it came out, a whole bunch of books were shipped out. Most average people are stuck in the how and they haven't built their why like I talked about at the top. And they're hesitating until they have all the answers before they can say yes. And that's a recipe for mediocrity. And once you suck that lollipop of mediocrity, I'm telling you what, there's no going back. You got to get yourself out of that ecosystem and into a place where your work ethic is going to be called upon you. Now, I don't know if you guys and gals can relate to this, but I grew up on a farm and I had to feed 22 horses before I had the right to have breakfast. That instilled an amazing work ethic in with me. It also instilled a feeling of not being loved. But at the time, you know, I didn't know what was being built into me, what was being developed into my character and my identity. All I know is that later, I have a very, very good work ethic. I show up early, I stay late. I'm willing to do what other people aren't willing to do. I was on this movie set as a 24-year-old, as a gopher, just doing odd jobs around driving cars and things like that. And Patrick Dempsey was the star of the movie called Meatballs 3. And they were doing a scene where he was going to lose his virginity in a boat. And they needed somebody at nighttime to film the boat moving up and down and imagining him losing his virginity to this, you know, porn star or whatever she was. She was like, you know, gorgeous girl. And so, you know, the movie's kind of curious and interesting for, you know, the high school after summer camp kind of movie. And no, the water was murky. It was 10 o'clock at night. It was cold. People had jackets on. Nobody wanted to jump in the water and rock the boat. And the producer's like, the director's like, we need somebody to rock the boat. How are we going to do it? And somebody's like, you know, with a lever or what? I just walked straight through there, fully closed, and jumped in the water. And I started going, how's this? And I started rocking the boat. And they said, perfect, that's perfect. And they started filming the scene. The very next day, they had some other task that was difficult, and they were having trouble, you know, orchestrating it. And the director shouted out, where's that kid that rocked the boat last night? Get that kid to rock the boat. He'll do anything. And I got called down. The next thing you know, I get a little part as a stand-in for the guy that was the supporting actor. Then I get noticed by the lead actress. We end up dating, which was pretty freaking cool. And then I end up getting a part as an assistant director on the next movie they filmed to burn down the set they had built. And I even got a part in that movie as a dead person, because that's about as good as my acting skills are. But at least I was featured as an actor in that movie. All of that because I was willing to do what other people aren't freaking willing to do. And I want you, as you're sitting there, to think, how far will you go to fucking grab life big? How far? Because if I point you in the right direction, if I introduce you to great people, will you say no to the opportunity of pairing up with another multimillionaire, working for him, modeling him, learning from him, maybe doing a deal with him? Or will you hesitate? Will you sit back? Or are you willing to break through your fear that we all have, by the way? I'm not any better than any of you. The only thing is I've repeatedly broken through that veil of fear and stepped into my own individual greatness, which we all have. So one of the things I teach in M1 is your hot buttons, the six things required to get you to be motivated and take massive action. Absolutely brilliant. We're also going to encourage you to do what you love. If you're doing what makes money now, fantastic. Hats off to you, respect. But we want to move you mostly to what you love. Keep on doing what you must do to make your living, but let's at least part-time get you doing what you love and then move that to full-time. So, this isn't work. People say to me, how many hours do you work, Rock? I give the same answer that Mark Zuckerberg gives, is it depends on how you identify work. Am I in the office? No, not really. Am I on calls like this? Absolutely. Do I consider this work? No. So if you're doing what you love, it's not work, and we want to get you to that place. And we want you to start to have the words that follow I am being empowering. Think about that little voice inside of you that describes yourself. Are you a sexy beast? Are you a badass? Are you ruggedly handsome? Are you amazing? Are you a baller? Are you somebody who's unstoppable? How do you describe yourself? Or are you, still living with that label of somebody from the past that your parents gave you, or your brother, like me, called me pizza face because I had a lot of acne? What labels are serving you and enslaving you going forward? And are you interested in changing those so you can grab life at the very, very highest possible version of yourself and then get the results called freedom, financial freedom and emotional freedom? So I don't know about you guys, but I think one of the most important things to do is to have a mentor. The gentleman who sold me my real estate company walked into the office and he told me how much I would pay for it, what the payments would be, and he would hold my hand while I transitioned from real estate broker to owner broker. And then he helped me and guided me by 3 more offices and turned the office from 94 to 270 agents selling $1 billion, that's right, with the B, $1 billion of real estate a year. At that point, I was in my mid-30s and I was making about $1.3 million a year. And I couldn't have done it with him. And I'm going to tell you why. I was filled with doubt. That goal was beyond my scope of what I thought I could do. I didn't believe I had the capacity, the knowledge, the whereabouts, the know-how. But he held my hand. He, when I fell down, said, "That's okay, Rock. That happens. No worries. It's normal that somebody doesn't pay you 20 grand and a supplier screws you or what have you. That happens all the time. Don't sweat it. Somebody betrays you. Somebody steals from you. Somebody quits in the middle of something. Somebody promised you something and didn't deliver." All those things happen in business, but you can overcome it by developing something that's called what's great about this. In every event that happens, there's a seed of opportunity. Would you guys agree? Just nod your head if you would agree, right? There's an opportunity. It's just a question that is usually buried and hidden. So I learned that when you ask what's great about this, you can transform the way you see things. And when you do that, you become one of the empowered. You become a leader in your community. And soon people bring you problems to solve because you can handle them. And when people bring you problems to solve, usually what follows that is money. I became very good at solving problems, and therefore my offices kept on growing. I had him in my corner when I was doubting myself to go back and lean on him. Your mentors are comfortable with your future. Your friends are comfortable with your present. If you're bending the ear of your friends right now, and those are the people you're getting advice from, they're not going to pave the way for your greatness. So my 200 Street Start Millionaires come into M1 on random occasions and end up sharing their story and their strategy with you to help foster the belief in you. And if there's some of them that you like, you want to interact with, you can, or we'll introduce you to the people that will make a transition in your life and an impact in your life. How many of you think, just by a show of hands, that if you could up your peer group by a few street smart millionaires, that your life would probably be impacted for the better? Anybody? Thank you. Same thing for me. That's what happened to me by meeting David Osborne. And my net worth has doubled in the last 4 years and is on a trajectory to continue to do that even faster, maybe. Let's talk a little bit about net worth. And we're almost near the end, guys, and we're going to open up for questions and give you an irresistible offer. So I want you, while you're sitting there, is to ask yourself, or maybe write down if you want, what is the biggest check you can write right now? If somebody walked in and said, hey, I can give you 100% return on your money, you got 24 hours to go to the bank and get your money together, write me a check, and the next day you'll double it. And it's safe and it's secure, it's not a scam. I'm just giving you a metaphor. What's the biggest check you could write today? So if you look at Warren Buffett, it would be pretty big, right? If you look at Mark Zuckerberg, it would be pretty big. If you look at Donald Trump, huge. If you look at Tony Robbins, big. Oprah, big, right? What is yours? And that's your money blueprint right now. If it's not what you want it to be, and mine would probably be several million of liquid cash that I could get probably in 24 hours. So if that's where you're at, is that where you want to be? Do you want it? I often do hard money loans. I have about $3 million that I use in circulation for hard money loans. Somebody comes to me and says, I have this real estate investment. I'll give them $400,000 after I vetted the deal, and I'll get a piece of the equity, and I'll get 8% or 10% or 12% of my money, and maybe 50 or 25% of the deal. And that money will turn over in an average of 20 to 30% a year. So imagine having $3 million turning over at 20 to 30% a year. When you have money, you get access to opportunity, yes? When you don't have money, you miss out on opportunity. Now, it doesn't take money to make money, although it's always great. It takes creativity to make money. We're going to talk about that later, depending on where you're at. And the other thing I want you to jot down so you know is, what are you worth per hour? When I do one-on-one coaching, I charge $1,500 an hour. Now, it wasn't always that way, but I've worked my way up the scale to a place where people are willing to pay that. I started for nada, free, right? Learn to earn. But today, at the age of 55, I've got more experience. I have access to a lot of tools, and I can turn people around. I can transfer what's going on in their brain and turn it into results, and people are willing to pay for that. So how much are you worth? Now, when I coach, I'm worth that. When I do other things, like I run a real estate office, and I have 114 agents that work there. And today, I have a manager that runs it, and I spend about an hour or two a month just answering the occasional email, advising, giving a little counsel, guidelining, giving some guidance. And that office churns out approximately $20,000 a month. So if you looked at that just alone, that's $10,000 or $20,000 a month for that particular business. But I worked in that business for 3 years making nothing. So if you put it over the life of that, it's not $20,000 an hour. But if you can do some things that gets you to a higher pay grade, then it's worthwhile. What I want to talk to you about is, what is your net worth today? Where do you want it to go? And horizontal income for me is worth 10 times vertical. Vertical is what you're doing when you're working, and horizontal is what you're doing when you're sleeping or on the beach getting a nice tan. And we want to talk to you in terms of horizontal. Most of my 36 streams of income are horizontal. And I can tell you about them later, but I've written several books. I have online products. I have other people that I promote. I have $15 million worth of real estate. They're all making me money with a little bit of attention. But when you have a property manager and you have a bad CFO, they can handle almost all of it. You can check in with them once a month, and you don't really have to do that much. And how much do you invest monthly? Do you pay yourself first? Have you read The Richest Man in Babylon, and are you freaking following it? Like, what bothers me in life is that a lot of people know what to do, but they're not doing what they know. So Are you one of those individuals, or are you the type of person that is going, wow, you know what? I do understand that principle and I am honoring it. Are you allowing yourself to be challenged by people around you and held accountable? Are you fighting to make more money, spend less, and invest the rest like the rich people do? Or are you living an average life? Did you know that the average person goes to, not McDonald's, but fast food 159 times a year? And it's funny because people say, oh, I eat pretty well. I go, well, then why are there so many Burger Kings and McDonald's? Somebody's going to them. Somebody's going, right? There's a new McDonald's opening every day in China for the next 3 years. Every single day for the next 3 years. This is not good nutrition, guys. Newsflash, if you don't know that. It's shit nutrition. It's sapping you of your energy. I'm just off of a 7-day juice cleanse, and I'll tell you, I got energy to burn, baby, because my body is getting what it needs. If you join M1 and choose to be in this tribe, you're going to be supported, encouraged, and challenged to nourish your body with love, self-love, self-talk in a positive way, and nutrients that are going to cause you to be energized like you've never been before. And we're going to encourage you to exercise. Why? Because 20.4% of the world, of North Americans, exercise 3 times a week or more. But most of those don't even do it properly. It's like they go to the gym and they do their thing. Probably 5% do it well. I'm looking at Lawrence there, and I'm thinking Lawrence probably does it quite a bit. He's looking like a badass stud. And but he's from New Zealand. He's probably going to McDonald's once a quarter at most. You know, New Zealanders are out in the mountains hiking and stuff. So that's a good environment for him to be in. And that will prompt him to have more clarity and more ability to make great decisions and serve his family and friends even better. So this is a short visit, the tip of the iceberg when it comes to conversations around money. We really want to get you to a place where you're what we call a 100%er. And a 100%er is somebody whose monthly expenses, let's say you need $5,000 or $10,000 a month to live off of, is exceeded by your passive or horizontal income. So if you're making $10,000 off of your real estate investments and your 401ks and your stock market stuff, or you've written a book and if sales coming in and it exceeds your fixed expenses, you're good to go. All right, so that's kind of a snap of that. How many of you are familiar with the cash flow quadrant? Anybody? So we're big fans of that. Robert Kiyosaki is a mentor of mine. I shared the stage with him about a month and a half ago in Phoenix. I've interviewed him. Robert Herjavec is a friend I've interviewed as well from Shark Tank. I try to surround myself with very successful people. I'm going to very briefly go over this, but the E stands for employee and the S stands for self-employed. If you're on the left-hand side of the screen, you are a grinder. You are still trading time for money. And I don't care if you're self-employed, but you're still doing it. If you have a small business where you have people working for you and you've leveraged yourself out, then that's a big plus. But most people haven't learned how to lead the way they could, and they like the control, and they still have to keep on showing up. Your business is worth as much as it makes when you're not there. Your business is worth as much as when you're not there. When you're on the other business, you have a big business, you might leverage it off like Richard Branson does with 360 companies or something like that. And he hires really great people and they run it, and he just checks in as a board of director. And that's when you've leveraged people. When you're investing like Warren Buffett, you've leveraged money. If you have no money to invest, but you're good at influencing people, you can use other people's money to make investments. We have plenty of people that are doing that in the tribe through syndications in real estate. We can teach you how to do that as well if that's something that interests you. But we're going to encourage you to do both. Save your own money and invest it and get a great return and minimize your mistakes. And also how to invest in people and lead people so you can get what you want. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is they don't seek the advice of others. Warren Buffett said that it's great to learn from your mistakes, but it's even greater to learn from other people's mistakes. And that's in line with the mentorship. Carpenter says, measure twice and cut once. Be prudent. In business, we say, trust but verify. As you're building your business, as you're in your relationships, when I sold my company for $4 million, I did not have a mastermind group. I took $1 million. I thought I was a hot shot. I put it into stock market. I bought Baidu, which is the equivalent of Google stock in China. And I was right. It went from 1 million to 2.8 million. And then I got a margin call while I was on vacation and they sold the stock for me. I got pissed off. When emotions go up, intelligence goes down. And I started to make a whole bunch of bad decisions trying to get it back. I got greedy and I lost it all. Had I had a peer group with a few people I would have bounced that idea off, there's no way they would have let me put $1 million all in one spot on one stock with zero experience. Sure, for a moment I was right, but a moment doesn't matter. What matters is what you're left with, right? The long-term play. So we're going to constantly help move you from the E and the S over to the other sides for many reasons. Tax reasons primarily. We'll walk you through the 5 fundamentals of financial freedom, how to protect your money through trusts, through insurance, all the boring stuff that people that don't have money go, I'll get to that later. We create the conversation depending on where you're at. If you're in North America currently and you are an independent contractor or self-employed, and you're not renting your own home or condo that you own to yourself tax-free for 2 weeks, you're missing a $10,000 opportunity that's 100% legal that you'll learn about in M1. If you are an employee and you do not have a business and you're paying high taxes, we're going to show you how to get a business within 24 hours and to start holding meetings in your own place and starting getting tax deductions as well. Either way, rich people pay very little taxes. How many would agree that rich people pay less taxes? Yes? You know what most poor people do is they go, oh, I'm so proud I did my own tax return. It didn't cost me anything. I saved $500 or $1,000 not paying my accountant. Penny wise, pound foolish. The accountant will probably find a loophole you don't know about that would save you way more than the $1,000. Or they go to HR and Block. How many people go there? All of them are fucking broke. Because you don't go to HR and Block if you're making serious money. Because you know that you've got to hire an expert in that field to advise you on how to save more money. Because you don't spend every day looking at the tax code, right? And figuring out what's going on in that area. What is osmosis? So I looked it up because I was fascinated by it. The process of gradual or unconscious assimilation of ideas, knowledge, etc. Unconscious. If you hang out with me, the conversation is very quickly going to go to very deep conversation. I'm not interested in fluff or small talk. I'm not interested in talking about gossip. I'm interested in talking about things that really matter. My life is short. I consider it short. I want my life to be full. I want the people around me to be inspired. I want people, when they leave the site of having a conversation with me, to feel more freaking alive than when they got there. That's my goal. That's my mission, right? If you're not in an ecosystem that is pulling you up, then it's pulling you what? It's pulling you down. And that is taxing your energy, your ideas, your confidence, your optimism, etc. You've got to get yourself bathing at least once in a while in an environment that's better than the environment that you day to day hold for yourself. So we do events. And I want to invite you all to this event. You see that house there? I rented that house for about, I think it's $24,000 or $26,000 for the week. It's right at the bottom of the hill in Breckenridge. And for 1 week, I'm going to be there hanging out with all my millionaire buddies from GoBundance, the other tribe that I created 5 years ago. Be about 100, 150 of them there. And we're going to mastermind. We're going to ski together. We're going to do yoga, meditation in the morning. Then we eat breakfast. We hit the hills. We get to talk. You go up the lift with different people. You get to do one-on-ones, etc. I can introduce you to all these people. And many of them are going to come over to the house and are going to talk in the evenings when we do our masterminding. They're going to share their stories. You're going to be able to hang out and have a coffee or a beverage with them and really just pick their brain and maybe even do some business with them in the future. So it's a really, really cool event. And I'm going to package something together. If you want to just come to that event, I think it's, and by the way, if you're in a very unique position. We have VIPs in our group and we have our leadership council. All of those have a first shot at rooms in the home. Everybody else is going to be staying in their own accommodations at Airbnbs, etc. But if you guys make a decision on this call, if you choose to be one of those people, you'll have a chance to stay in the house with myself, with my lovely lady, with some of my partners, and with the top people in M1. It's the first time I've ever done this where you'd get the chance to bypass the entire tribe to get access to come to this event. Absolutely epic. Here's the deal. Cost of M1 is $6,000 or $7,000. The event VIP status is $4,000. And then I have a course, it's called the Sunday System for Success, which is, call it a time management course. I don't like that word, but that's the best way people can relate. It's a 7-step process that is guaranteed to save you 5 to 10 hours a week. Now, go back to your hourly rate. What is it? $20, $30, $40 an hour. Multiply that times, say even 5 hours a week. That's 250 hours a week, a month, a year. Times your hourly rate. That's how much I believe you will save. And we have many testimonials of people who have saved that using this system. I learned a lot of it from Tony Robbins. I perfected it myself for the last 15 years. And I've just started sharing it with people in the last 2 months. You're going to have a planner that's a journal. It's an agenda, and it's a goal-setting device. That's absolutely epic. You get a copy of that. And you're going to get as a bonus my 6 keys to success, which are the fundamental keys that helped me start when I was first starting out. Total value, $11,631. And shall you choose to make a decision today, you're going to get all that for $9,995, or you can pay $995 monthly if you want to finance it. If you're not in a position to write a $10,000 check, like I talked about at the top of the hour, to invest in your life and up-leveling your peer group, then it's $995. Now, some of you might go, but I don't ski rock, or I'm busy. You know, what are the dates? The 19th to the 22nd. Oh, I got my birthday, my anniversary, my kid's birthday, what have you, and you can't make it. Then you may want to just join the tribe. And instead of $7,000, if you choose to make a decision here, then you get to save $1,000, which is cool. It's just $6,000. And if you want to pay monthly, it's $5,995. You will also get the bonus Triple S, the M1 Planner, and 6 Keys to Success if you simply decide to sign up for the M1 event. And that's the total value of $640 plus the $1,000, which is pretty cool. And not to worry, because when you say yes and you figure it out later, you have a 30-day guarantee, which means what? 0 risk. So the only thing you have to overcome is the voice in your head saying, what if it doesn't work? What if Rox turns into be a disappointment, or he's a dickhead, or he doesn't deliver like he said he would or could? What if I don't play full out? What if I can't show up? And all those little things that happen in our head when we go through these types of situations. Environment is stronger than willpower. I encourage you and urge you to put yourself in an environment that will cause you, entice you, cajole you to get what you want. And you'll grab life big. So let me just get out of here. I'm part of another mastermind group, this one here, with some epic trips. I don't just go to one mastermind group. I'm always up-leveling my groups. What else do I have here for you? This is our M1 tribe. Our most recent millionaire. We have helped 31 people become millionaires. This is the private Facebook group that you'll be part of. So that's Christine right there. She's a doll. You can see we have 292 members, and you would become part of this ecosystem. Every Monday night, as you've been through this with everybody, I'm not going to repeat it, but this was our Monday night with Chris Crawford, who helped people understand about branding. And you can see we had 542 comments. There is massive engagement in our community. Is off the chain engagement. People are totally all in. And we, if you join, ask that you will do the same thing and play full out. We have incredible conversations. You'll be introduced like a badass here, like this gentleman who just gets introduced. You'll have access to all kinds of great conversations. I will do lives from time to time. That was me talking about me completing my cleanse just an hour ago and encouraging people to share their experience. You can see other people sharing it. You will be drinking through a frickin' fire hose on how to live life epically. I believe M1 is the best mastermind in the world. and I will not quit until people keep on saying it, till people are lining up the door to get in, till people are walking out the other door in a way that completely transforms their life. Here's a girl who posts, I'm at a crossroads. I could use the tribe's insights and life experience. And then she gets these people. This is a guy who's on our leadership council. And he's like, Jay, let's chat. Let me know what's sometimes work and get on a call. Free coaching in the community, free leadership, access to badass people, birthday celebrations, and all kinds of stuff that goes on. You go to the videos that are in here, there's thousands of videos of people training each other and giving great advice and introductions. I mean, I could go on and on, but I'm not going to. This is the Go Abundance Tribe. These are the guys that are going to be your mentors. You've got a whole bunch of guys in here that are badasses, hugely successful. This is our gear. We're branded. We've been around for a while. We got cool stuff. People love to wear our stuff because they associate with, some of the sayings that we have. One of our sayings is, we don't apologize for being awesome. Where can you go where you can tell people, hey man, I did this deal yesterday. I made 20 grand. I also scored the winning goal in soccer on my team on Thursday night. And I made love 3 times this weekend. I had a great week. How was your week? And somebody turns to you and go, you're a badass, man. That's awesome, right? It fuels you forward because you get to celebrate life. So I'm going to drink a cup of Shut the Fuck Up right now and see what you guys want to talk about. As you can tell, I could talk probably 40 hours straight. My mentor is Tony Robbins. I love life. I love grabbing life. I love influencing people. But more than anything else, guys, I truly do believe that the secret to your success is to get yourself into an ecosystem that resonates with your values. So who's the first person that has a question, a comment, or a concern? Just go ahead, say your name, and fire away.
Hey guys, Lawrence. I'll jump in first if no one else is going to. I think everyone might have a few questions. One of my biggest things, Rock, that I'm trying to figure out at the moment. So as I said, I was introduced to yourself, your history, your story by Brad. But something you will realize as well as from everyone on the call, I'm on the far side of the other side of the world. To pretty much everyone on this call, everyone that's a lot of people that's in your group. And the big thing that I'm struggling with at the moment is not just try to find my place in there, is where the overall guidance will direct me specifically in my country. The American marketplace, the American potential, the growth, the wealth to grow there is so much different to New Zealand itself. We Western country to say that, but we're so controlled by governance and the rest of it, that a lot of your learnings, a lot of stuff of Tony's learnings I've tried to implement, you can't actually implement in this country to your benefit because they have too many rules to control you trying to go that way.
Yeah, the culture is different. The rules are different for sure. It's a great question, Lawrence. Here's the thing, is 80% of success is psychology and, your connections. So in our tribe, you're going to be connected with a lot of people that you're going to learn about success and psychology and success and developing those habits. You're going to, yes, if you're investing in real estate, you have some different rules in your country that you're going to have to find from your country and from your peer group there. And a leader will do that. You'll fetter that out. When it comes to investing in hard money loans and stock market and things like that, those principles may change less. So you'll still be able to embrace that. Being part of an ecosystem that's going to cause you every morning to be pulled forward, be reminded to take action, to have access to, being excited about things, share your victories, and even to do things online in the world today. I'd say that 15 of my 36 streams of revenue are made from online. So the Monday Night Live last night was how to brand yourself so that your message is really clear, right? So what business are you in? What do you do for a living?
So I have a couple of small businesses. I'm a self-employed IT contractor as my day job, but I also do property development, flipping properties, buying properties as well. I also had a smaller tier online appliance company, which I just had to shut down due to the problem of not having enough enough time in my schedule to grow it to where I want it to be. And I've started with all the learnings of Tony and the likes of yourself that have started to grow my horizontal income. So I've started multiple streams of horizontal income, looking to start doing my investments over the next 3 to 6 months and try to build those up to 2 or 3 different streams currently.
Right. Well, good for you. You're choosing to go to, those events. I imagine you went to the Gold Coast or something to see Tony. And
no, I went to San Jose. I wanted to go as far out of my my space, my normal area as possible. So I was in San Jose in March. It's totally out. I mean, Australia would have been so much easier next month to go to, but I feel the American way of Tony Robbins itself is just more extreme than going over to Australia.
Cool. I love it. I love your attitude. I would say this to you is 2 things. Trust your gut. You've listened to what I have to say. You've talked to Brad or who you spoke to. If that doesn't resonate with you, then say, thanks a lot, Rock. And, we'll see you around.
Yep.
But if your gut is calling you and there's something that's calling you, you have 30 days to come bathe in our community.
Yep.
See if you feel there's some value there. And you can make a second decision in 30 days and go, you know what, Rock, thanks. But, I'm down under another side of the world. It's not working for me. Mm-hmm. That being said, I can tell you I've got a guy in Thailand that just became a millionaire. And his net worth was 300,000 when he met us. And within 1 year, he's now about 1.2 million. And he said the biggest thing wasn't that he changed that much, except he started to think bigger. Mm-hmm. And the thinking bigger and constantly every week listening to this guy, having access to this and doing the exercises that we give you every week, his consciousness grew and he started to attract. And he said, and this sounds a little woohooey, I agree, like the phone started to ring, more online sales. He felt more motivated. He felt more focused. He started building a few more websites. He does everything websites. He's from France, everything in French. He had every reason to say that it wouldn't work for him. He's in Thailand, different time zone, and his first language is French. So I would say, it's up to you, but I would taste it, feel it, and just say yes and figure it out later.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Is there anybody? Yeah, go ahead. Robbie, you want to go? You're muted, I think. Do you want to unmute yourself?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. We met the night before UPW, and UPW was great for me personally. I think one of the things that been bogging me down for a while is my job, because I'm still in kind of the bullshit 9 to 5 fucking job where 98% of the people are still working for the man, just kind of grinding it out, hoping for the best. And that shit's just a total energy zap for me. I've kind of got an exit strategy now where I'm looking to get out probably in October. There's a couple other things where I'm trying to wrap up, and mostly because I'm kind of in a financial deal right now for one more kind of final loan on a property where I have to have a fucking job to get my loan.
Right. Gotcha.
After that, I almost feel like I have to pull out at this point, because I can still sustain with my savings and income that I've built up over many years. But I don't see how I can continue to stay in my job and still, do all these other things, working on the passive income and things, because it bogs me down so much. So I saw where you're kind of talking about, kind of keep doing what you're doing, but also start building other streams. Where it's bogging me down 95, 98% of my energy. Where would you recommend at some point, if I can sustain it for quite a few years, is it time to walk? Because I think I've kind of got a strategy now where I feel like I have to walk, because it's just draining me down so much, especially at my age now. I'm in my mid-30s, still young.
Yeah.
Bringing me down too much.
Well, the short answer is all of those things are going to happen for you in the ecosystem of M1. All those strategies and conversations. We have at least 24 people that transition from working for somebody to self-employed since they joined M1. They got the confidence, they got the wherewithal, etc. The long answer is to look at your budget, to look at your finances, to strategically talk about where you're going to be able to get funding from for your future deals.
Yeah.
That's a longer conversation, Part of all of you on this call have to ask yourself, the biggest disappointment, read Don Miguel Ruiz's Four Agreements. Great author, great book. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend you read it. But he has another book called Love Mastery, or Self Mastery of Love. And he talks about the fact that the biggest thing we all do is we beat ourselves up because we feel disappointed in how we've shown up in life. It's that self-talk. I say to people, if you would only talk to yourself the way you talk to your dog, you'd be much better off. It's like, oh, hey, you're so cute. Come over here. The good boy, the good boy. I just a good boy. Yeah. Good job. You did the poo-poo. Yeah. Right? But what we do is, you stupid freaking nincompoop. Gosh, why did you do that? You missed that deal. You should have started earlier, man. Go, you know? And that does not promote confidence, decision-making, and growth. It creates doubt, fear, worry, and hesitation. Who here, just out of curiosity, is there any person that's like, bam, I'm in, Rock. You freaking sold me. Is there anybody? Or are you all hesitating? You're in, Robert?
I'm in.
Curtis? Sal? So what's the conversation that's going on in your mind that is holding you back from making a decision? Because I'm fine if the decision, how many of you said, no, I'm not, this is not for me? Anybody? So Lawrence is kind of like right in the middle. So what do we need to talk about? And I'm fine if you say no, but don't leave the call not knowing what you're going to do. Because that's what average people do, is they go, I got to go think about it. Make a decision, yes or no, on this call, and then move forward. And then you don't have to drag it with you. You know what I mean? Another thing, the last thing you need is another decision you're going to mull over and drag, unless you got to go talk to a partner or your wife or your husband and you want to discuss, you know, the opportunity. That totally makes sense. Then go ahead and do that. Ernesto, what are you thinking, brother?
First and foremost, I'm in. But I will say that the one thing that's kind of holding me back a little bit is this entire thing feels a little conceptual. And I was going to respond to Salvatore and Brad, and it would be reassuring to maybe highlight a case study of someone who resembles maybe the background. I don't consider myself to be very technical, and that's okay. I know that not everybody is, but to find a case study of someone who came in with the right attitude and maybe wasn't technical, and 3, 6, 12 months in, this is what happened because of M1. That would be really reassuring.
Okay, well, Ian Lobis came in. He was $30,000 in debt. He's worth $1.2 million today. He's not technologically savvy, and he's definitely a case study right off the top of my head. Okay, and he's now actually on our leadership council because he's got a real interest in the soft skills of coaching. He does real estate flips, and he's also a real estate agent. What do you do?
I'm an account manager for Verizon Wireless. So I do sales support, training, things of that sort. Okay, cool. So we have many employees like Rebecca who transitioned from being a doctor's aide into now being self-employed and flipping properties. And she's not technologically savvy either. She's close to 50. And when you get up in that age, people have not adapted the way some of the younger people have as a general rule, right? So it's a great question, Ernesto. Here's the thing, again, speak to the little voices. On some level, one of the things that has made me successful is I have the thinking, and this is rule number 10 you're going to learn about, is make it happen no matter what. When you think that way, it's like, I'm in LA, I'm actually moving, so I'm putting my stuff, and my girlfriend was just leaving. We packed the car, and we bring a whole bunch of stuff down to the car, and she goes, it's never going to fit in. And I go, trust me, it will. Because I have an attitude that there's always a way. Does that make sense? I'm not going to allow, it's like Tom Brady. If you're a football fan, Tom Brady walked up and down the sidelines when they were down by 23 points, I think it was, 27-3, 25 points. And he walked up and down and he goes, don't allow doubt to creep into your mind. Don't allow it. That's the way winners think.
So we're going to work on all of those pieces. It's a totally legitimate question. But what if there was nobody and you were the first one? Right? That's a fucking leader. That's somebody who's hungry and says, you know what? I know, given some tools, I can improve my life. And I don't fucking care whether anybody else has done it before me. I'm going to find a way.
All right. Like I said, I'm in.
Awesome. Are you coming to Breckenridge also, or are you just in as a member?
January's already tight. I got to be in Mexico for a wedding. I'm not a snow guy. I'm leaning towards no for that particular trip, maybe a different one. But M1 is a program I'm in.
Okay, awesome. We have a trip in first of week of April, I think it is, in Mexico, where we rent an epic $12 million home and we all hang out together in the house. So maybe that one will fit better for you.
Cool. Looking forward to it. I love Mexico.
Welcome to M1, Ernesto. High five, brother. That's cool.
All righty. High five.
And by the way, when you get in, if you don't play full out, we have a scoreboard. I don't know if you know this. We have a scoreboard. We hold you accountable. We encourage, support, but we also challenge you. And if you don't play full out, we will ask you to leave the tribe. So
sounds good. I told Brad, I'm looking to be completely deconstructed and put back together. I'm ready.
All right. Well, I don't know if we'll completely do that, but we'll do our best. Lisa, what's going on, girlfriend?
Well, I'm unmuted. All right. Yeah, so I guess the reason I'm a little hesitant, and haven't I done, Sal? What you're saying, but my issue is I've been in for 20 years, and it's hard for me to change. It's all I know, and
you've been in what for 20 years?
I've been in my job for years, so, and it's like to leave, to think differently. It's a huge challenge for me, and I wonder, it's all I know. So it's like, what other talents can I do to bring me more different income, or that's what I struggle with. I'm not going to be writing a book, and I'm not trying to doubt myself, but maybe I am a little bit, just because I'm trying to think what I can bring to the table to go forward.
So how's your level of curiosity?
It's pretty high.
So we may have to fan the flames on that a little bit, because there's something out there for you that you can add as a side hustle or an additional stream of revenue. A lot of people have come to us and they say, Rock, you talk about real estate a lot. I'm not into real estate. I'm not interested, etc. Right? I don't have the time. So people will often fight for their story or their limitations, keeping them where they're stuck. So the first thing, remember, I talked about is we have to make sure that you have a passionate purpose, a reason why you want to grab life bigger than you're currently grabbing it. You may want to keep your job if you love it. Do you love your job?
I think I want, but I'm starting to lose that spark from my job a little bit.
Yeah. So do you want to live your life fully and feel fully freaking alive?
I do.
So what do you have to lose? Can you afford to join, or is it a money thing?
It can be anything. I mean, I could do it, but it would be tight, I will say. So that's part of my drawback. I have to give up, some stuff. But
do you do a budget?
I'm not very good at a budget, but I should budget.
Okay. So the average amount of money people save by doing a budget, which you'll do when you're in M1, is $430 a month.
Okay.
Just in wasted money on average. Now, I don't know your story, but if you're not doing one, that's the average. So that's 3/4 of your monthly payment right there. So I am maniacal when it comes to success. I am relentless, right? We will find a way for you to make an extra $600 a month in your first couple of months, or you can leave. But you gotta participate. I'm going to give you the path. I'm going to give you the recipe, and you're going to, digest it spoon by spoon, and you're going to improve your life if you want. Your part is to continually feed a new purpose, a passion, something that causes you to feel excited, to follow the rituals we're going to give you, to continually increase your curiosity and ask for help. Those are the parts you got to play out in. If you've got a good work ethic, do you have a good work ethic?
I have a very strong work ethic. I grew up on a farm too.
Awesome.
I've worked jobs for many years. Yeah, I have a very strong work ethic.
So you have the characteristics for you to get to level up. The question is, how hungry are you for it? Is watching your favorite TV show important to you? Is having a nice bottle of wine on Friday night and blowing $200 the thing you do? I don't know. Having a Starbucks every day, and there's things that people do that are cool and awesome, and you can continue to do them. Some things you can shift. Like my mother's 82 years old, and she rents one room in her house. She makes $62.50 a night, and after 10 months or something, she bought herself a new Honda Civic. So we're going to give you every possible creative way to increase your income and decrease your expenses, to have extra money initially to cover the investment of this, and then the investment that will cause more money to come back home to you. And that's our path. That's our theory, and we're committed to it. But it's really hard to describe from the outside because there's nothing like this that exists. What most people do is they sell you information. I'm not interested in selling you information. I'm interested in your results. And trust me, it's a lot more work on my end, a lot more work. I have 33 people that work at M1, and we are after people and reminding people, because what's going to happen? Watch this, guys. Knowledge comes in, you learn something. If you want to learn how to be a better tennis player, you take a lesson and they tell you how to hold the racket and this grip and move your feet like that, and you practice over and over and over again, and you get better. If you learn and take the lesson, you don't practice, do you get better? No. The amount of effort you put into the repetition and the practice is what causes you to get better. That's your part. We're going to give you the formula. But what we're going to do is something that we call SEC. While you're practicing your forehand shot, while you're working on your new real estate investment, while you're working on, analyzing your budget, we are going to support, encourage, and challenge you. And the reason is this: when you grew up, the feminine in your life should have given you support and nurturing. The masculine should have given you challenge, and both of them should have shared encouragement. When you fall down on your bike, mommy runs over in the perfect ecosystem and goes, "Are you okay? Let me kiss the bobo." Daddy comes over and goes, "That was cool, man. I used to fall off my bike like that too." And then they both go, "Come on, get up. Let's get you back on there and try it again." The soul, the spirit resonates with that. If you've had one of too much support, if you're a parent, you do your kids' homework, you fight their battles at school, you make their lunch, you make their bed, you do everything, they're not going to be able to handle themselves out in the real world. Does that make sense? Yeah. If you give them too much challenge, I grew up with massive adversity. I grew up with a chip on my shoulder. I went into drugs, alcohol, all kinds of things, looking for escape from feeling sorry for myself. I tried it all, the entire menu of everything, right? I tried importing cocaine from Thailand. I mean, I did everything to try to get an edge to win because I wasn't guided. And this is why I created M1, because you're going to come into an ecosystem. We're going to find out once you start to practice your forehand over and over and over again, the little voice inside of you is going to come up of your limiting beliefs. I don't have time. I don't have the money. I'm not fast enough. I'm not athletic enough. I'm not good with numbers. People don't like me. I'm not good talking in front of people. I can't lead people. I'm tired. I'm lazy. All of that's going to reveal itself on purpose by design. And that's the good stuff I want to work with. The other stuff is just, it's superficial. I want to get to the juice, who you are on the inside, what your programming is. And when we get there, you're going to see a revolution happen, a transformation happen. The mindset you have of, I've done things for 20 years and I can't, it's going to be hard for me to change. You're going to change like this. If you're open, if you want to do the work. That's why I said at the top of this call, this is for people who are hungry. If you're not hungry, you'll get eaten alive in this environment. Don't join. But if you're hungry and you want this and you want a great life, we've created an ecosystem that is going to provide you with the elements that keeps on moving you forward. And that's what excites me. Does that make sense? And some of you have spoken to Brad, and you know how great he is. You've spoken to Diego, you know how great he is. Diego is the reason I created M1. He showed up at my GoBundance event, but he was what? And Ernesto, you know Diego. Is he willing? Is he a great student?
He is. He's just in the short time that I've known him and listened to his podcast and learned about his story. It is just one of the most inspirational things I've come across in a long time.
Yeah. So when I met him, he stuttered, and I did a little timeline therapy on him and helped him with his stuttering. This is a type of thing that's so hard to explain. We will do whatever it takes. You know, he's been on David's plane 4 or 5 times, private jet, private plane. He's had access to all kinds of people. He was the #1 first M1 guy. He's the reason I did it, because he was willing, he was curious, and whatever I said, he did it. And he went from $60,000 a year as an employee at GM to now making $180,000 a year as a realtor in Austin, Texas. I'm going to Austin in 2 days. I'm going to be hosting an event down there with 50 guys. He's going to be there. And he now has 9 properties. He's house hacked. He's got a podcast. He's just modeled us. That's all he's done. And he's the 100%er. He doesn't have to work if he doesn't want to, but he wants to increase his lifestyle. So he is. He's a true success story of M1. He is the #1 M1, the first one. He's the reason we created it. And he's an incredible role model. But the biggest thing he's willing. All you have to do is be willing, and we can help you transform your life. It doesn't mean you don't still have doubt. It doesn't mean you have fear and worry. This guy's on the DACA. This is a guy who lost his license or didn't have it for a period of time. And you know what? He said, what's great about this? Which is what I teach him. And he thought, what is great about this? He had guys that asked him if they could mentor with him for a while. Well, when he lost his license, that week, he didn't have a license. He got people to drive him around. And it was one of the best weeks he had in real estate ever. Because he says, what's great about me losing my license? It's time now for me. I'm forced to mentor somebody. They drove him around, had his best week ever. Bam! What is that worth, guys? You can't teach that unless you're in it. You can't even measure the monetary value on that, because instead of him being a victim and going into, I'm a loser, I don't have a week of work, and his revenue going back, he turned it into a win. That's what I'm talking about right here. Guys, I'm going to wrap this up because I'm going to have a colonic in about 20 minutes to complete my cleanse. And not to be graphic or anything, but that's what I'm committed to, my health. So let's go around and I mean, if you haven't made a decision, that's cool. But Robbie's in the house, and I'm going to ask that you take some action, ideally now, and just make it happen. The link has been put in the chat box. No reason to wait. Ernesto's up for it. Lisa, I don't know if you're ready or not, but I love you and I'd love to work with you. And I promise you I can impact your life and give you some new ways of thinking, inspire you, motivate you, cajole you, love you, tease you, all of the above. And after 30 days, if it doesn't work, you can run the other way as fast as you possibly can. But you're going to be hard-pressed to find somebody that has the passion I have to impact people's life. And I, for one, wish I had somebody like me in my life. And I don't say that from being cocky. I just say that if you don't love yourself first, it's really hard for somebody else to love you. And it took me 54 years to figure that out. And now I am madly in love and in a phenomenal relationship and very grateful for it. And it's all the hard work I've done in constantly learning from, my wounds. I've been divorced a couple of times because I went into relationships to get love. You don't go to relationships to get love. You first love yourself. And that radiance of love that happens attracts love to you. And that's a whole other conversation. We will cover health. We will cover wealth. We will cover relationships. We will cover it all. Giving, fun, bucket list adventures, cool ass things, introducing you to amazing people. You just got to show up after you show up. That's your part. Curtis, what do you got to say to these kids?
You guys had to unmute. Yeah, I mean, I've known Rock for 20 years, so I'm back. You know, I used to work with Rock. I know what he's capable of. Rock helped me through challenging times. And Rock doesn't take shit. And I'll tell you this real quick story. I was struggling. I was selling before we were selling Rock speaking for his real estate, speaking, training, coaching. And Rock actually drove to my house and knocked on my door. I don't know if you remember that, Rock, but he came to my house to help me find out what the hell's going on, man. You know, so that's the kind of commitment and dedication that Rock has. And I'm new in M1, so that's what I've been experiencing from these guys. They've all been reaching out to me. What's going on? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? What do you need help with? This is no mess around. This is nothing like I've ever seen. Like I said, I've been in personal development over 20 years. I was personally recruited and trained by Tony Robbins, who I believe at the time was the greatest coach on the earth, right? And that's who trained me. And you couldn't, I can't explain it without getting into it. The level, you have no idea, right? I'm a former Marine, and the training to be a coach with Tony at the time was very similar to Parris Island Boot Camp. 28 days locked in a room with a crazy maniac that's the size of a house, right? And it's get up, do it now. It's go out in the street, find someone and help them. And if you don't, bring them back here. Don't come back. That's training. That is results. That's the kind of stuff you get. And I'm experiencing that and more already in M1. And I'm just getting started in M1. It's just been a couple of weeks. So it's intense, you know. You dive deep. It's not fluff. It's not sit there, watch and listen. It's, hey, you want to make this happen? We're going to force you to make it happen, or you're going to leave. So that's all I have to say. So if you want to make a change, I've seen everything out there. I've been with, I've trained their coaches. I've put their coaching departments together. I've seen everything out there. Nothing effing comes close to this. Nothing. So, you know, there's nothing to lose. You get in. It's not for you. It doesn't work. You get out. But if you say no now, look at what else you're going to say no to your life and look at the long-term effects of that. That's all I got for you. Thanks, Rock.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Bids, parting words?
Yeah, thanks so much, Rock. Appreciate the time. To be completely honest, I see absolutely nothing to lose with trying this out for 30 days. So I'm in.
All right, awesome. Now, Ernesto's having trouble with the link, it looks like. I don't know if Sal, you're able to work that out. But if you have any trouble, then just contact Sal and let's make it happen by midnight tonight. And then that offer is going to be off the table for the reduced price. So I can go around and ask you all individually what you want to do. I don't want to put you on the spot. I love you guys all. If you want to do anything, work with Sal. He's your man. It's pretty late on the East Coast for most of you. I'm in California, and it's still around 6 o'clock. But I love to see you on the inside of the M1. If not, it's been a pleasure spending this time with you. And I look forward to those of you that I get to work with. And I'm going to go have my thing taken care of. And it's the last day, 7 days on a juice cleanse, I tell you. It's epic. Really, really fired up and excited. And Curtis did it also. So kudos to you, buddy. Great job. And that's the type of thing also that you'll get. Lawrence, I hope you say yes. I like you a lot. I like your energy. And I hope you won't let something small stop you. You got nothing to lose to try it for 30 days. And you want to say something before I leave? You're muted, buddy.
Oh, am I muted? There we go. You can hear me? Great. Rock, Yeah, the small thing of you being on the other side of the world is just something small and mediocre that's not going to stop me. The challenge I have in this situation is me and my wife. I don't know, I love my wife. My wife had made a decision to go into a career that made her happy and not to chase numbers. So our combined wealth has been reduced by over 40% instantly by her changing her position. So I've gone from having amount of money to be able to cover it to reduce it. So I've got a challenge on myself. So it means that I won't see you now, but in 6 or 12 months' time, when my horizontal is at or above the cost of me being in part of this team and part of M1, I'll be there. So that's my motivation, that I'm building my horizontal, that I can cover in New Zealand will be $1,000 a month. As soon as I can grow an additional $1,000 a month horizontal, I'll be joining M1 straight away.
Awesome. So for people that are in that quandary, we have something called the Top 10 Rules. It's a 90-day challenge that costs $500. And the first thing that I focus on working on with you is your mindset, but also how to make an extra $600 a month. So if some of you are like, I don't know, money's an issue, then you get 3 months of me and my team and 3 months of content on mindset, and you can start there. And my promise to you is that if in 90 days I can't help you make an extra $600 a month, then you get your $500 back. So you have that as another choice as well. I like the all in, go for it piece, but you are where you are for whatever reason, and we'll meet you wherever you are. And my commitment, like I said, is I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is and say, if in 90 days I can't help you, you got to do your part, by the way. We're going to give you stuff to do. But if you can't make an extra $600 a month based on our strategies within 90 days, then you can't afford to get into M1. Then I totally get it. Take your $500 back. So you got zero risk for 90 days. That's how convinced I am that our stuff works, right? So totally up to you guys. Nick, you're looking very pensive. I got to ask you what you're thinking, man.
No, I'm very interested, man. Me and my wife do actually have a budget, and we did not write this in. So, yeah, I would like to talk to her about it. Not very interested in the trip at this point, but more interested in the monthly program, and kind of interested in learning more about like how often, what that is like how many times per week are we talking to somebody, and I guess just learn a little bit more about that.
Did you not learn that did you talk to Brad or somebody about that?
I talked originally to Sal about that. I think I need to go back over it with him.
Okay. All right. Well, you can do that.
I'm interested though.
The interesting thing about our minds, it's so fascinating, is notice how the mind is giving you obstacles, right? It's like, well, how many times am I going to talk? Who gives a fuck is what my mind says. Like when David asked me about a mastermind, I said yes. I didn't even ask him how much. It ended up being $750 to hang out for 3 days at his house. It was informal, etc. And that led to so many great things. But the mind is a great trickster. Oh, I need to know, can I fit it in? The other side of that mind is, do you think Elon Musk is going, yeah, well, can you tell me how many engineers are going to be needed to create the next Tesla? He's going, we're fucking going to create a Tesla. And how many ever engineers I need, we're going to fucking have them and find them. But what if there's not enough? What if they're all working at Facebook and Google? I don't give a fuck. I'll go rape them and get it, right? That's how successful people think. So just notice that your mind you're getting the results you have based on the programming you've gotten so far. And that's the beauty of where we're at, is that we get to take you to the next level if that's what you want to do. But you're going to have to push you. You got to jump off the cliff and grow your wings on the way down. You got to take your foot off of first base to get to second. And that's the scary part. I totally get it. And that's why we guarantee. But yeah, set up a call with Sal and whatever. Ask all the questions you want. We want you to go into this with your eyes open and feel good about it. And if you don't, then we don't need you in the community or want you in the community as well if it doesn't resonate with you. Check your gut. Your gut knows all the time. Matt, I got to say goodbye to you and ask you your little perspective, and then we're going to run.
There you are. Okay, sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, I really like it. I've liked it ever since I looked on the webpage, and I had a conversation with Sal. And, my big personal development, I went to UPW in Chicago a couple weeks ago, still wearing the band to this day and priming every day. Right now I've been on the fence about leaning towards, I haven't decided which platform I'm going to go with on personal development. I've been looking at the Robbins coaching and looking at you guys. And, without a doubt, it's just, I'm going to invest into personal development to, build on the investment that I made at UPW and that I want to make it myself moving forward. It's just right now, it's just picking which one I want to go with.
Awesome.
But, without a doubt, I liked everything I've seen today. I really do.
Cool. And that makes total sense. So good selection. Just to give you an idea that success doesn't come easy, I'm going to show you. This is how I prepare for talks. It's not like I just spout this, out of my mouth. I review like Tony. Repetition is the mother of skill, as you've learned. I am invested in getting better all the time as an individual. And hopefully today I sparked something in you, whether you go with us, you go with Tony, you go with Landmark, you go somewhere else. Invest in yourself 10% of what you earn. That's what you'll learn in our community. That's why when you're going to be in our community, we're going to teach you to put 10% aside, and it's going to be automatic. There was 30 of us at UPW. It's going to be like, yeah, okay, where's the next place I go? What's the next book I buy? What's the next audio program I get? What's the next seminar I go to, right? It's just going to be automatic. You're going to also pay yourself 10% first and put it aside, and you're going to start to learn about investments. So once you start to think like a rich person, the decisions actually get easier because there's a system that you'll follow. And you won't be like, should I, can I afford it? It's really easy when I'm presented with an opportunity, bam, I'm in. Because I have the bank accounts that are set up for the particular areas of my life. That make sense?
Yeah, I really love it. I wish I could do both. I really do. And
do both.
While you were talking, I took a bunch of notes, and I really liked everything I've heard today. I really do.
Well, I love it. I love it. You got a great radio voice, by the way. And you got a TV face. You got both. It's cool.
Thank you.
But yeah, and so I saw you taking notes, and you're looking like an excellent student. One of the things I pride myself on is being a phenomenal student. And I'm incredibly, insatiably curious. Einstein said that he wasn't the smartest person, but that he just never gave up. And he just stuck with the problem longer than other people. And I put myself in that same category. I'm a farm kid that didn't know how to relate with people. I was a carpenter. I worked with goats and 2x4s till I was about 28. And then I got into sales later. I had to reinvent myself, Lisa, completely after 20 years of doing that. And I took Dale Carnegie's course, how to win friends, influence people, effective speaking course. I took a name memorization course. I was awkward. I was introverted. I was afraid. But you can reinvent yourself and create anything that you want to create. You just have to have that hunger. So I'll leave you with this last thought. 5% of the world is financially free because of inheritances or because somebody else has really done a good job and they benefit from that. 15% are the middle class that eke it out. They work hard. They save in their 401ks and they get to 65 and they got a decent retirement. And 80% of the population needs help from government or family to live. For me, that's unfreaking acceptable. I want people in my world to be going on bucket list adventures from an early age when you can do cool things. Like I said, I've been on 28 trips every year for the last 6 years. I'm 55 years old. I've walked the glaciers in Norway and I've Machu Picchu, and I'm going to Japan in 2 weeks for 10 days with the guys. We do cool shit today. We don't wait. And I want that for all of you, to grab life big and to live it, and don't wait until you retire. Let's get you on the right side of the quadrant: business, investments. You can still keep your job. I have a job in my real estate company. I get $2,000 a month. I don't do anything for it anymore, but it is a job. It's a title, right? But I also have the business that gives me $18,000 a month. So I have the business, and I bought the building that the business is in. So I've invested in it. So I also get money from the building. So I have 3 ways of making money. In fact, 4, because my son took over my real estate business. So I'm kind of self-employed in that corner. I got all 4 going. So there's ways that you can accelerate your success. And I'd love to be part of that. I want to thank you guys for showing up late on a Tuesday night. And for Lisa, the one brave woman who's joined us badass guys. She's a rock star. I hope to see you guys in the near future in one of our platforms. And if not, may you continue to grab life big and be bold and be awesome for your families, because they deserve that you are the best that you can be. And hopefully that's what you subscribe to. I'm out. You know where I'm going. I'm sure you're going somewhere much more exciting.
Thanks, Rock.
Guys.
Thanks, Rock. See ya. See you, buddy.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. I really appreciate you guys showing up. So I'll be sending up a follow-up to you guys with some links, some more videos you can watch. I'd love to chat. Please reach out to me with any questions you may have. I believe you guys all have my email or my phone number. You can text me, you can call me, you can FaceTime me, you can Skype me, you can send me a pigeon. I don't care. I'm good. I'll respond. I'm here all day, so I'm here for you guys. So thank you so much. Thank you, Curtis.
Thanks, Sal.
Rock,
Thanks for putting this together.
Thank you.
I just want to say that Curtis, man, I have seen a complete, just relighting of the fire of Curtis, because it is unbelievable. The first day I met him, he was like, "Yeah, okay, let's start this thing, M1 thing." Now he's jumping up and down. He's doing juice cleanses. He's running up and down.
Well, it's like some of the people on here probably had concerns like, do I have time for this? Can I do this? And I learned just say yes and figure it out. So I had to cram it into an already over full schedule. And it's the best thing I ever did. It expands you and you grow. So you just do it, figure it out, go through the pain, get on a juice cleanse, get even more pain. This is my last juice though. I'm out. I'm done. It's over.
Go get some food, man. Go get some food.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. Bye.
See you lit up again, bro.
Thanks, Al. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. So if anybody has any more questions, I'd hang around for you guys. If not, we can just cut this off.
Sal, I kind of lost my video, but I have audio. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
So Rock mentioned 90-day option that you could, at least kind of learn a little bit more about the program and stuff, and get some benefit. If that's an option, can you do that? And then you're realizing this is a great thing. Can you roll that over into the regular M1 program?
Yes, absolutely. If within the first week of Top 10 Rules of Success, if you decide that M1 is going to be the path for you following that course, we can credit your M1 expense with the Top 10 Rules expense.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm definitely in. I just got to decide which option I'm going to go with. And so maybe I'll just talk offline with you and get that figured out.
Yeah, we'll talk. And Ernesto, I want to hit your question really quick. The difference between M1 and GoBundance. GoBundance, you need a minimum of $1 million net worth to get in. And that's just, that's not just property value. You have to be liquid. So you have to be able to spend $1 million if you really want to. And that's a separate application process. And they don't provide the education that we do, because as Rock mentioned with Diego, he was the blueprint for M1, and how to become a millionaire starts with him. And so that is the purpose of M1, how to be a whole life millionaire. And then once your journey is not over, but once you reach that different checkpoint in your journey, or that goal, then you have different options. You can join GoBundance, you can become an M1 alumni, which is a mentor with an M1. Or you can, go ball out somewhere, right?
Cool, man. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So, I believe that's it, right? Ernesto, congratulations, man. I'm so excited to have you in. I'll be sending you a message shortly, and we'll be wrapping up here. So thank you so much for showing up, guys, and I'll catch you all later this week.
Cool.
Thank you, Sal.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Nice to meet you all.